What up, Marsh Pod? I'm coming to you back here on a Monday, a active SimWorld weekend, an active football weekend. My trusty Jags will not go undefeated, unfortunately. For some reason, they decided that going for it on 4th and 5 from the Chiefs' 45 was a good idea, but going for a field goal on 4th and 5 from the 5-yard line was a better idea. Look, man, you only get so many chances. Why are we kicking a field goal down? I think they were down 7 or 8 at the time, and they kicked a field goal. It makes no sense to me. We're recording this. The Jets are down 7-0. If they, look, we'll know the answer by 2 p.m. Monday. But if they win that game, my God. And then the Giants, dude, good Lord, they're down. Currently, they're down 7-0 to the Cardinals. Is there a team that's had a worse expectation to start of season? Regardless of how this game ends, putting themselves in a 47-0 hole early on the point differential is not a recipe for a Super Bowl contender. Good Lord, that's embarrassing. And then the Cowboys, we're just not going to know what the Cowboys are, right? Because they're going to, assuming they hold on and win against New York, the Jets, and they sweep both New York teams in back-to-back weeks, the Giants aren't looking that good. The Cardinals are beating them. Josh Dobbs is suddenly Kyler Murray who. But the Cowboys are going to, I've seen the memes. There's not a truer statement than the life cycle of the Cowboys where they beat up on terrible teams. By mid to late season, it's 10 wins. They're this is a Super Bowl contender. They're going to lose in the first round of the playoffs to the Vikings or something like that. And it's just going to be the typical Cowboys life cycle. So, it doesn't matter. Jags coming back, baby. Houston next week. Nico Collins sat on my fantasy bench. Still got an 80% chance of winning, so, hopefully didn't burn myself on that one. But anyway, that doesn't matter. Let's talk SimWorld, man. Let's talk SimWorld. A lot of news, a lot of rumors, I think, more so than news, right? Big rumor mill going around was Royce Anderson is in Miami and that comes on the heels of potentially some activity going on with Yacht Club, which is fascinating. It's very fascinating. And truth be told, I've been hearing a lot of names, beyond Royce Anderson being linked to Yacht Club. I've heard that there's the potential that Jay Laster does in fact return. Again, we're recording this Sunday afternoon, so by the time this comes out, that might have dropped. And I don't think he's alone, but I think one of the things that just is not being seen, is not being talked about, is there's a lot of guys right now that think they're the number one. There's a lot of guys that think they're the number one, and their expectation is they're going to go to a team where they're going to be the number one. Now, look, I'm not saying Royce Anderson, Jay Laster, Arthur Lattimore, who's now available, those guys aren't deserving of being number ones. That's not the point I'm trying to make. But the point is, I think there's a lot of guys, there's a misconception from the players and potentially the coaches on who these guys are, right? Everyone wants to be the star. And I saw Rick mention this. A couple other folks echoed that. They want to be the star. They think they're going to go to insert team and they're going to be the star. And the fact of the matter is they're just not. That's not going to happen. So, if that's the case, you're also getting coaches that are feeding, assumedly, that are maybe telling guys, hey, you're going to be the number one guy here. You're going to be the number one guy here. And in a vacuum, that guy might be, if just he came, if player X came to your team, yeah, he'd be the number one guy. But the fact of the matter is there's an obvious pecking order. And if Arthur Lattimore shows up, and I know that this was after that news was dropped on Saturday. A lot of people mentioned that. Look, recruiting boards and commitments, they're going by the wayside right now. And the challenge right now is figuring out and hoping that people start to understand expectation does not equal reality. You can have a great pickup game. You can score a couple buckets. You can hit a couple threes. That doesn't mean that you're suddenly the guy, right? You have to go out and prove that time after time after time. And for some of these players, I think that they have this belief that, look, some coach has told me I'm going to do this, but you don't know what that coach is telling somebody else. And that's not a discredit to the coach, right? The coach should be saying that, right? The coach should be saying, hey, I got to get the best talent I can in here. But one, we saw this with Bay Area last year. At a certain point, great talent does not equal a great team. That team was very talented, but they had almost too much talent for their own good because they had no established pecking order of who was going to be who was going to take the shots. And that's why Dime Hardaway's out. That's why Royce Anderson is out. That's why they're retooling. I think that's a big reason why DJ Davis doesn't go to Bay Area, because why should I step in line and be behind guys like Trey Hyman, Sean Hyman, Ronnie Shanahan's already established there. Yeah, there's the potential for me to be the number one guy next season, but will that impede on his development? I think going to Best Coast is a better move for him, right? You get a chance to play now. You get a chance to go through those lumps and take your shots, and maybe the team isn't good, man, but at the end of the day, you're here for 2 years. This is high school basketball. If you don't win a championship in high school, no one's going to hold that against you, right? It's not like, oh, well, LeBron's actually better than Michael Jordan because in high school, he took St. Vincent St. Mary's to the Ohio State Championship game. I mean, let's end the debate right there. No one gives a damn, man. No one gives a damn. So for all these kids that are like, oh, I've been hearing it, we want to win. They want to win. They want to go to a place that you can develop and go to a place that you can get that done. And if you can be the number one guy on a team, or actually be, but the coach isn't telling you that, go take that opportunity. But with Yacht Club specifically, the concern that I think you have to run into is if you get all those guys that might be rumored to go there, do you start whittling down on the actual development these players are going to take? And I think it'll be interesting to see if and when the players start to recognize that and start to make decisions that give them better opportunities to develop in the long run and not just to win games and play for a good team at the high school level. If you put up big numbers, schools are going to come looking for you. But if you're in a crowded backcourt, a crowded front court, and you can't do that, that's going to be a challenge. All right, talk to you Friday.